네, 반갑습니다. 반갑습니다. 5분 모두 한국 방문이 저희가 처음인 걸로 알고 있습니다. 그래서 먼저 기자님들께 인사 말씀과 함께 한국에 방문하신 소감 한 말씀씩 들어봤으면 좋겠는데요. 사이먼 감독님부터 시작할까요?
It's wonderful to have you all, and my understanding is that this is your first time coming to Korea. So can you greet the press and tell us how you feel finally being here, starting with Simon.
It is my first time in Korea. It's an amazing city you have here in Seoul. I've never seen anything like it, actually. I got to explore around a little bit yesterday, see one of your markets where I did not eat the live octopus, but I did touch it.
자, 다음은 마이클 배우님.
Yeah, also my first time here in Korea, and I'll definitely be back. I'm looking forward to coming back. I've wanted to visit for quite some time, so very excited to be here.
아, 정말 또 꼭 뵙기를 기대하도록 하겠습니다.
We look forward to seeing you again.
Yep. 소피 배우님.
This is my first time in Korea as well, and I haven't had much of a chance to explore yet, but hopefully tonight we'll be going for some Korean barbecue, which we're very excited about. But thank you for the warm welcome. We're so excited to be here, and I've always wanted to come, so here we are.
네, 에반 배우님.
Yep, my first time here as well. Very excited. Hopefully tonight we do get to have some delicious barbecue, and I wouldn't mind going to do a little karaoke as well.
자, 타이 배우님.
Yeah, also my first time. Yeah, I got in yesterday morning and went out and went around the city. I did have the live octopus. I loved it. Yeah. Yeah, I did. They chopped it up, and it's still squirming around on the. You guys know this, but it's still squirming around on the plate, and the suction cups get stuck to your cheek and your tongue. Quite a sensation. You should try it. It's amazing. I will definitely have seconds.
와, 아마 어제 한국에 오셔서 굉장히 타이 배우님 경우에는 한국을 즐기신 걸로 알고 있는데 산낙지를 그렇게 맛있게 드셨다니 반갑네요. 네.
So you made the full out of that one day you had for yourself, and we're glad to hear that you tried the live octopus.
Yeah, I had a lot of things. We ate a lot of food yesterday. So.
손을 번쩍 드셨습니다. 네, 좋습니다. 자, 이번에는 기자님들 질문 시작하기 전에 제가 5분께 공통 질문을 하나 드리고 시작할까 합니다. 그 엑스맨 시리즈 대단원의 막을 장식하는 작품이라고 제가 말씀을 드렸는데 어떤 마음으로 이번 작품 임하셨는지 감독님부터 차례대로 여쭐까요?
Well, before we bring the mic to the press, I have one question to ask, and this one also will start from Simon. My question is, this film marks the grand finale to the saga, so I'm sure it felt a little bit different to be part of this project. So how was it for you?
Well, I've been working with the X-Men movies for almost 15 years now, and so even when I sat down to start writing this script about 3 years or so ago, there was a feeling of it being bittersweet, but also feeling like this is a family I've lived with. Some of these actors for almost 10 years now. Michael, we've worked on, this is our 4th film together. It's so many years, and it felt like a natural culmination of this story that we started telling so many years ago, and we've brought people in over the years. Evan a few movies ago, Ty and Sophie 2 movies ago now. And it's almost like when you graduate from college, you feel a sense of completion, but you also, there's some part of it that's emotional and bittersweet as well.
마이클 배우님.
Yeah, it's. I'm glad we finished with this film, Dark Phoenix, and we got to really sort of explore Jean Grey's character, and she had her own sort of centerpiece film. I think it's a really fitting end to this journey. Jean Grey is the most powerful mutant in the saga, and yeah, I think it does it justice by finishing with her story.
I completely agree with Simon and Michael. I think they said it all, really. So moving on to Evan.
Yeah, I agree with all of them as well. It's always amazing to be a part of these movies. I always feel lucky. Thank you for having me back, as always. And yeah, I don't know. I always hope it's not the last one, but if it is a great one to go out on. It's really dark and very emotional, and I'm happy to be a part of it.
Yeah, no, I think we're all very proud of this film, and obviously very proud of Sophie. She carries the movie and is incredible in the movie. Yeah, it's quite compelling, very emotional, and I think from the very beginning, that was the intention from the start. I think Simon was very clear, so that was all exciting for us. And yeah, no, it's epic, but it's also very real, very honest, and very raw.
네, 알겠습니다. 자, 다시 한번 플래시 사용 자제를 좀 제가 부탁을 드리겠고요. 이제 기자님들께 마이크를 넘기도록 하겠습니다. 질문이 있으신 분께서는 손을 들어주시면 저희가 마이크를 전달해 드리겠고요. 매체명과 이름 말씀하시고 질문해 주시면 좋겠습니다. 자, 첫 번째 질문은 어디로 갈까요? 네, 자, 네, 저쪽에 가 있네요, 마이크가. 네.
필더무비의 최재필 기자라고 합니다. 오랫동안 시리즈에 출연하셨던 마이클 패스벤더 배우님께 간단한 질문 드리겠습니다. 그동안 오랫동안 엑스맨 시리즈에 출연하시면서 다양한 세대와 개성을 지닌 배우분들이 참여하셔서 히어로 연기를 하는 것을 지켜보셨을 텐데요. 보시면서 정말 원작 만화 속 캐릭터 혹은 진짜 히어로처럼 느껴졌던 동료 배우가 있다면 누구였는지 말씀해 주셨으면 하고요. 본인을 어필하셔도 괜찮습니다.
I have a question to Michael. You've been part of this series for a long time, and I'm sure you got to work with a lot of actors right beside you, being all hero and all. But is there any particular person that you feel that's most fitting to the original character? And you can be honest with us, and you can say that it's you.
It's me. It's tricky. I guess Hugh's pretty good. Wolverine. It's hard to imagine other people in the roles. Really, right from I think the original cast: Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen, Hugh, Halle Berry, Famke. No, actually, we can imagine somebody else. With both, you know. Yeah, it's like it starts with that series and me.
기자님께서 질문 속에 너무 답을 심어주신 것 같습니다. 네. 자, 이제 다음 질문 가도록 하겠습니다. 자, 다음 질문 중앙으로 갈게요. 네.
네, 안녕하세요. 제가 맥스무비의 성선혜 기자라고 하고요. 감독님과 그 에반 피터스 배우께 질문을 드리고 싶은데 일단 감독님께는 지금 그 여러 히어로 무비가 각자의 세계관을 가지고 전 세계 관객에게 사랑받고 있는 시대인데 엑스맨 시리즈가 가지고 있는 고유의 매력이 무엇이라고 생각하시는지 궁금하고요. 그리고 에반 피터스 배우께는 스피드가 주 무기인 히어로들은 다른 세계관에도 있는데 대표적으로 DC의 플래시 등이 있잖아요. 근데 퀵실버랑 플래시랑 비교를 했을 때 개인적으로 누가 더 빠르다고 생각하시는지 여쭤보고 싶습니다.
I have one question to Simon and the other to Evan. To Simon, there are many superhero films with their own universe. So what differentiates this series from other series and what makes it so unique? That's my question to you. And my question to Evan is there are other heroes with great speed, such as Flash in the other universe. So who do you think is faster between Quicksilver and Flash?
Quicksilver.
I think what makes the X-Men so different, and it comes from the comics, and we've portrayed it in the films, is that the characters aren't squeaky clean superheroes. They're outcasts, they're outsiders, they're rebels, and so I think audiences relate to them because they're human and flawed and fragile and broken in the ways that real people are. They're not perfect. And so there is something, despite the fact that they're mutants, that is more human about them than any other superhero franchise.
제가 에바님께 퀵실버가 더 빠르다고 자신 있게 말씀하셨는데 왜 그렇게 생각하시는지 혹은 뭐 증거 뭐 이런 식으로 좀 부탁드려도 될까요?
You said so firmly that Quicksilver was faster than Flash. What makes you believe in that? What's the proof? Can you prove that you're quicker than him?
Yeah, we'll do a little race. No, I don't know. I really don't know.
너무 가볍게 또 잘 모르겠다고 자인해 주셨네요. 네, 어쨌든 퀵실버가 빠른 걸로 그렇게 하도록 하겠습니다.
Just among us, it's Quicksilver. Who's quickest?
자, 다음 질문 가도록 하겠습니다. 자, 이번 질문은 저 뒤쪽에 있습니다. 네.
네, 안녕하세요. 저 YTN스타 조윤주 기자입니다. 저는 소피 터너에게 질문 드리겠습니다. 이제 엑스맨 시리즈 말고 또 전 세계적으로 사랑을 받았던 다른 시리즈에도 출연을 했었는데 좀 이렇게 큰 사랑을 받는 시리즈에 출연한다는 것이 본인에게 좀 어떠한 의미인지 궁금하고 이제 진 그레이가 엑스맨 시리즈를 마무리하는 캐릭터가 됐는데 좀 어떻게 연기하셨는지 말씀 부탁드리겠습니다.
I have a question to Sophie. You starred in this grand series, so how does it feel to be part of this great saga and also to close this arc and be the female lead in this film as Jean Grey?
Well, first of all, just being a part of this X-Men world is such an honor because of the legacy that it carries with it, because of how much it's meant to so many, fans through the decades, how many incredible filmmakers and crew and talented actors have kind of come through into the X-Men world, and it's just so amazing to be a part of that, but also, to have these characters as so well-rounded and as Simon said, these flawed individuals who are accurate representations of what it is to be human, is something that's really exciting for me to see in a superhero movie. And to have this movie close it off with, I think it's for a lot of people, it's their favorite storyline in a comic, and so that is just so amazing that I get to kind of be that person, and I'm just honored that Simon put his trust in me to play her, and that all of the fans put your trust in me, and I'm just really honored.
네, 알겠습니다. 자, 이제 다음 질문 가도록 하겠습니다. 이번엔 가운데 쪽으로 가겠습니다.
네, 반갑습니다. 저기 파이낸셜 뉴스의 신진아 기자라고 하는데요. 감독님이 그동안 뭐 각본과 제작에만 참여하시다가 이번에 첫 연출을 하셨다고 알고 있는데요. 뭐 각본을 쓰시면서 뭐 내가 이렇게 보도자료를 보면 내가 낳은 아이를 남에게 맡기고 싶지 않다라고 할 정도로 애정을 보이신 것 같은데 연출 소감이 궁금하고, 두 번째는 이게 이 엑스맨 시리즈가 어떤 작품은 좀 굉장히 호평을 받고 어떤 작품은 좀 그 팬들한테 실망을 준 작품도 있었는데 이번 시리즈 대미를 장식하면서 연출에 포인트를 준 점이 무엇인지 궁금합니다.
This question goes to Simon. I have two questions for you. You've written and produced many X-Men films, but this is your directorial debut. So tell us how you feel about that. And my second question is that in this series, there are some films that were very big success, and there were other films who disappointed the fans. So what was your main point? What were you trying to do, and what did you concentrate on when making this film?
The transition for me from writing and producing to directing was very, I would say, organic, and really for two reasons. One is I was working with actors that I knew and that are actually friends off screen and are extraordinary actors on screen, and so I knew I could trust them, and that I knew I had their support in a really profound way that's unique going into a movie as a director, whether it's your first movie or it's your 20th movie. And I also had other partners on the movie. Hutch Parker is the producer of this film and has been a producer of so many. He's here looking at us right now. He's been the producer of so many of these X-Men movies and the Logan movie and Wolverine. And he was an incredible partner creatively and in terms of managing the studio that he used to run. And I had a great crew. I had an Oscar-winning cinematographer who shot Avatar. I had an Oscar-winning editor who was Chris Nolan's editor, won the Oscar for Dunkirk. I had Hans Zimmer, the greatest composer alive, doing the music. So I had an incredible support network of people that made the transition to directing as easy as it possibly could be. And I've been over the years as a writer, producer, studying directors, and so sort of apprenticing and learning as I was working. And I think, to your second question, I think when these movies work for the audience is when they're focused on the characters. I think when we make them emotional and we make them character-driven and dramatic, because we love the characters from the comic so much, and that's what's so powerful about this franchise, those are the best of the X-Men movies. And I think when we veer away from that into pure spectacle and pure scale, and when there's too many characters to really dive deep into the main characters, it's not as emotional of a journey. And so I tried to make this movie as intimate and personal and emotional and character-driven as possible, having learned my lessons over the years from making some that worked and some that didn't.
네, 고맙습니다. 말씀 중에 언급하신 우리 허츠파거 프로듀서님도 지금 객석에 앉아서 함께 지켜보고 계십니다. 자, 제가 쉐리던 배우님께 질문 하나 했으면 좋겠는데요. 이 진 그레이를 이 다크피닉스 계속 지켜보셨잖아요. 그래서 그녀의 변화를 지켜보는 사이클롭스의 감정 연기 어렵지 않으셨는지 어땠는지 여쭤보고 싶고요. 또 하나는 어제 좀 일찍 오셔서 한국을 만끽하셨다고 하셔서 만약에 사이클롭스로서 우리 서울에 오셨다면 뭘 하고 싶으셨을지도 한번 물어봐 주셨으면 좋겠습니다.
I have two questions for you, Ty. One is about how you had to watch your love, Jean Grey, going through that drastic transformation. So how was it portraying that emotions in front of the camera? That's my first question. My second question is that you had a fun day in Seoul. So what if you were in Seoul as Cyclops? So what would Cyclops do in Seoul?
Fry octopus. Or I guess grill it. I don't know, whatever the proper term is. No, to your first question, I think of one thing that a few of the others touched on is that this franchise includes characters that are very real, that are very human, and I think especially in this movie, it's a very what Jean Grey is going through is a metaphor. I think on many different levels, whether it's for mental health, depression, or addiction. I think those things were all things that we were all thinking about as references for this film. And I think what I got to explore and what some of us got to explore is what happens when someone you love becomes addicted by one thing or starts to turn away from those that they're closest to, and what happens to their family and to the people around them that are closest to that person. And so I think, it was a very, from that perspective, it was a very focused, very, as Simon put it, a very intimate film, which was really, really exciting inside of an X-Men story. So I think that's something that I was really excited about exploring the character.
네, 알겠습니다. 자, 이제 다음 질문으로 가도록 하겠습니다. 다음 질문은 중앙 쪽으로 마이크 갑니다. 네.
네, 안녕하세요. 환경닷컴 김소연 기자라고 하는데요. 저도 감독님께 질문 드리겠습니다. 이 엑스맨이 제작될 때까지만 해도 확정되지 않았었지만 개봉을 앞두고서 엑스맨이 MCU에 편입된다는 게 확정이 됐잖아요. 그런 부분에 있어서 이번에 엑스맨 시리즈가 마지막이라고 하더라도 나중에 그 MCU와 이렇게 호환이 돼가지고 어떻게 발전이 될 수 있는지, 세계관 확정이 또다시 이뤄지지 않을지 이런 거에 대해서 궁금해하는 팬들이 많을 것 같은데요. 이런 가능성에 대해서 염두를 하고 계신지, 다음은 없는 건지 그런 부분에 대해서 말씀해 주시면 감사하겠습니다.
This question is for Simon. So the news is out that X-Men will now be part of MCU. So what is going to happen to the series. So even though the Dark Phoenix will close the arc for this prequel and all, but is there any possibility that we get to see X-Men as a part of the MCU and expand their universe into MCU? What's next?
I don't know what's next. I'm sure there will be future X-Men movies in the MCU, but that's not something I was thinking about. Obviously, when we were making this movie, for me, I was so immersed in this film as the writer and director of the film that I was really focused on telling the best possible story and completing this epic journey saga that we've been through with these characters for, in the case of the X-Men First Class cast, 9-10 years now. With the X-Men in general, it's been 20 years, 2 decades. And so I really just wanted to honor and focus on this family that we've built, family of actors, family of characters, and do them justice with, like Sophie was saying, telling the ultimate and most iconic X-Men story as the completion of this saga, of this cycle of storytelling. And what comes next is not something I've been thinking about.
자, 이번에 제가 네 분의 배우분들께 한번 공통 질문으로 여쭤봤으면 좋겠는데요. 엑스맨 다크피닉스가 바로 이곳 한국에서 전 세계 최초로 한국 시간 6월 5일 오후 3시에 개봉을 하게 됩니다. 그래서 많은 팬들이 기대를 하고 있는데 그렇다면 한국 팬들이 영화를 더 재밌게 즐길 수 있는 관람 포인트를 하나씩 말씀해 주시면 어떨까 싶은데 마이클 배우님부터 시작할까요?
This goes to all of you. So, you know, Korean audience gets to watch this film before anyone else in the world at 3 p.m. on June 5th. So, is there any highlights, some of the highlights that Korean audience should not miss out to fully enjoy the film? So it would be great if one by one can give us that highlight. Starting with Michael, perhaps? Start with Simon, yes.
Gosh. Sheesh. Well, I mean, it's only a 2-hour movie, so you don't have to take a bathroom break probably or check your phone. So I think, you know, there's so many highlights of this movie for me. You know, I would say without spoiling it, that the very last scene of the movie, I mean, it's hard to say, but I would say the very, very last scene of the movie might be a highlight for me because it closes with some people that I began this X-Men First Class journey with. And so that to me, seeing those characters together and all of the backstory and history and ups and downs that those characters have been through, I feel like, without giving it away, those actors carry into the scene. And I think it was the last scene that we shot. And so for me, just the fact that it was the last scene that we shot, I feel emotionally connected to it. I think it's filled with very subtle emotion. But I have so many scenes that I love in this film, and obviously so many scenes with Sophie, because she's really the center of the movie, where I'm just kind of was astounded by the places she went, was willing to go, emotionally, psychologically, physically in some cases, that I've just never seen an actor do from start to finish of a film.
I would say Sophie Turner's performance. I'm serious. I think, you know, really, I think for me, I had some scenes with her, one piece in particular, where I just thought, wow, you know, it's always a very satisfying and inspiring thing to see an actor really come into their own and take a lead role and grab it with both hands and yeah, just fully immerse themselves in that part and stand up to the challenge and really nail it. So I would say Sophie Turner.
For me, I would say that the third act of this movie is visually so incredible. I think that there's, not to spoil it, but there's a sequence on a train which is just mind-blowing. I think, you know, the VFX team and the stunt team and all of the actors involved just really kind of outdid themselves on this one. I mean, it's just such a visual feast. And that's my favorite part of the movie for sure.
아, 퀵실버님이 정말 빠르게
He is so fast.
그러니까요.
We didn't even see him
플래시처럼
go.
잘하셨어요. 네.
I think Evan forgot to use the restroom. I'll go first. Favorite part of the movie? I would say the combination of all the exciting bits you get out of an X-Men movie, the fun battle scenes, the visual, all the VFX and crazy action sequences, and then I would say how compelling and emotional this movie is, and I think that's tied to Sophie's performance. So I guess my answer would be quite similar to Michael's, I think Sophie's just amazing in this movie. So she's definitely probably my favorite part.
네, 제가 영화 속에서 꼭 확인해 보도록 하겠습니다. 자, 이곳에는 저희가 그 아시안 투어의 첫 번째 지역이고 우리나라에서 첫 번째 또 개봉을 하다 보니까 AP 기자분들도 많이 참석을 하셨습니다. 혹시 AP 기자분들 질문 받을 수 있을까요? 네네, 마이크 넘기겠습니다.
Hi, this is Tina from U Weekly Singapore. So I would like to ask this for Sophie and Thai. Both of you have been to X-Men movies now. So what do you enjoy the most about being an X-Men, both off and off screen, on and off screen?
Well, for me, off screen is always the camaraderie between, each member of the cast and crew. I think we've really kind of built a family, and, when Ty and I first came into the X-Men world with Apocalypse, everyone really welcomed us with open arms. We were kind of the new kids on the block, and Michael and Jen and James and Nick and Simon and everyone, they were so welcoming. So that's my favorite part about the off-screen, is that we're actually friends in real life. And then on-screen, I would say I like doing all the wire work and the stunts. That's my favorite part.
Yeah, I would say that this is one big family, and not just within the cast, but within the crew and everybody who works on these films. And so it's always a great experience making these films, because it's a great environment to tell a story in, and everyone's very passionate and in a great mood all the time. So it makes it really easy to be excited to go to work in the morning. And I would say on screen, I guess I love what this franchise carries, the messages that it carries about acceptance, and that's something that I think is so special about this franchise. So I guess I'd say that.
네, 자 하나만 더 받아볼까요? 네네.
Hi, I'm Taka from Cinema Today Japan. So I have a question for Michael. You played Magneto since X-Men First Class at 2011. So you have experience so many things with a lot of cast and filmmaker on set. So for 8 years, what was the biggest moment for you, being this big franchise, on set?
I suppose for me, First Class really holds some very special memories. I mean, the whole journey has been obviously a great privilege, but I always remember the audition for First Class, and I remember I had a mustache, yeah, and I thought that might get in the way, but it didn't. The fact that James was there to audition with me, and immediately in that audition, he was just so generous and so supportive. And I guess, speaking for these guys, if I may, coming into something like this, it's got such a huge fan base, you feel, kind of nervous. And that's always been the spirit of the cast on this sort of generosity of spirit. But yeah, I just always remember that audition and that sort of immediate sort of connection with James, and that sort of we had sort of worked together ages ago on Band of Brothers, 20 years ago, so we knew each other. But just immediately when I came in on set and started to do the audition, there was a good chemistry there.
자, 늘 아쉽지만 시간 관계상 제가 마지막 질문 하나만 받도록 하겠습니다. 네, 질문해 주세요.
네, 안녕하세요. 코리아 중앙데일리 이재림이라고 합니다. 저는 소피 터너 배우분들 소피 터너와 이제 타이 쉐리던 분한테 질문을 드리고 싶은데 일단 우선 소피 터너님한테는 그 이제 배우님께 제가 다른 기사에서 읽었는데 배우님이 이제 이 진 그레이 캐릭터를 이제 연기하시기 위해서 이제 해리성 정체감 장애와 그리고 그 조현병을 따로 이렇게 공부를 하셨다고 제가 어디서 들었어요. 그래서 어떤 부분을 이제 진 그레이 캐릭터에 반영을 했는지 묻고 싶고요. 그리고 타이 쉐이던 분한테는 이제 그 엑스맨 그 배우 그 학생 거기 다니는 학생으로서 이제 엑스맨 히어로로 뮤턴트로 성장을 한 거잖아요. 그래서 그 배우님이 연기하셨을 때 어떻게 성장을 했는지 묻고 싶습니다.
I have a question to Sophie. I read in other articles how you talk about you prepared yourself studying multiple identity syndrome and schizophrenia. So, what kind of aspects from those disease or conditions did you reflect into your role? And another question to Ty, Cyclops himself starts from just being a student of the school and becomes a part of the gang. And how did you grow with the series?
Yes, for my preparation, I studied schizophrenia and dissociative identity disorder, and it was just really to kind of feel the confusion and the disorientation and the frustration and the anger that drives you to tears that Jean really feels. She has these auditory and what feels like auditory hallucinations. Once she's kind of phoenixed out, she stops and she kind of can't remember what she was doing from one minute to the next, and it's just very frustrating and very disorientating. And so that really, really helped me get into the character. Simon and I studied a lot about schizophrenia and dissociative identity disorder, and it was just really, really interesting, and it really fueled kind of the character for me. And without studying that, I don't think I would have quite found her.
Cool. I'm so sorry. What was the question? How did I grow?
How did you grow?
I think one thing that's really exciting about these movies is that they take place. There are 10 years in between each one, so you get to pick the character up at a totally different place. And so this is the second film for me, and the last one, he was just a student. Now he's much more of a, he's a part of the X-Men team. So it was exciting to, I guess it was exciting to pick the character up there. I think there was a lot more, there was a lot more to do with Scott and Jean's relationship, which was fun to explore, and I think that's one thing that's really exciting, is it always presents a new challenge because you're always exploring a different version of the character, because a lot changes in 10 years. And then I think, just talking with Simon and understanding what that change is and where the character is, and what the version is that we want to try to accomplish. So I think I heavily lean on Simon for that, and it's a collaboration in trying to figure out what the best version of the character is in that time period.
네, 알겠습니다. 여러분들 질문 10가지 받아야겠네요. 그럼 오늘 기자회견 마무리하면서 오늘 함께하신 분들, 마지막으로 기자분들과 한국 팬들에게 인사 한 말씀씩 부탁드리겠습니다. 마지막 인사는 우리 마지막 타이 배우님부터 갈까요? 네.
We're sorry to let you go, but it's time to wrap. So please tell us how it was for you, and also is there anything else that you want to say to Korean audience? Starting with Thai.
That's exciting that the Korean audience is the first to see the film. So I hope everyone goes out and sees it. I hope they really enjoy it. Thanks so much for having us. We're really enjoying being here.
Yes, thank you so much for listening to us all bore you for 50 minutes. We're so excited for you guys to see the film. And thank you for having us in Seoul. We can't wait to explore and eat your food and explore the city. So thank you for being so welcoming.
Yeah, also thank you very much for inviting us here. And I just have to say, I'm a huge fan of Korean cinema. Find it fresh and unpredictable. And thank you for the entertainment. Appreciate it.
I would echo all these guys. Thank you for being so welcoming. Like Michael, I'm also a huge fan of Korean cinema and very inspired by it in the work that I do. Deadpool for us was very inspired actually by a lot of Korean cinema in terms of the combination of violence and comedy. But in terms of the X-Men, I would say, as someone who's worked in it a long time, thank you not just for embracing us in this trip, but thank you for embracing us for so many years. You've been such an incredible audience for the X-Men movies. You've been so with us really from the beginning. And, you know, I would say if you've seen one of these movies or all of these movies, this is a movie that is the culmination, and so in a way it's a sort of a thank you and a goodbye from us to you. So really the first part of it is what I want to stress is thank you for being part of this family for as long as you have.
네, 플래시처럼 사라지신 우리 퀵실버 에반 피터스 배우님은 스크린에서 저희가 다시 만나기로 하겠고요. 만나보니 그러네요. 엑스맨 패밀리, 엑스맨 가족 같은 분들이 아닐까 싶습니다. 오늘 함께해 주신 분들 큰 박수로 보내드리도록 하겠습니다. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you.